is back, and so is the Camping World SRX Series. 6 straight weeks, 6 straight Thursday nights, some of the most iconic short tracks in the United States, some of the biggest names in racing to go along with it. Who's ready for a green flag night?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins. Here we are again for what you've wanted, short track midget racing. And yes, Tony Stewart is here, coming up later tonight on Thunder.
It's another win for Tony Stewart. And there's a spin. They're going to stack a few of them up. Marco Andretti is the Camping World SRX Series champion.
I'm just done playing nice with everybody. You're getting ready to get one hell of a show.
4-time Indy 500 champion, now SRX winner.
What a win for Ryan Newman.
Tonight we kick off Season 3 of the Camping World SRX Series from Stafford Motor Speedway. We're from Stafford Springs, Connecticut, which is about 25 miles northeast of Hartford. And for the rich history of racing here, it is so important to this town. And for those of us who call ESPN home, this place might as well be home to us as well. Hello there, I am Nicole Briscoe. This is my home, and it is a pleasure to welcome you back to Thursday Night Thunder. This capacity crowd is ready to go because some of the best drivers on the planet have cut their teeth on a night just like this. We have it for you. 6 straight weeks, 6 straight Thursday nights. So here is how tonight will go down. There are 2 heat races. Each one is either 20 laps or 12 minutes. And then after heat 1, this field is going to be inverted for heat number 2. The main event, which is 75 laps, well, that is the average between those 2 heat races. Keep in mind, only the green flag laps are going to count. There are 8 full-time drivers. Each week they will collect championship points. As we get ready for green, let's talk to one of the drivers in the field tonight. You know him well. Our Matt Yoakum is with Tony Stewart.
Nicole, 2 decades ago, Tony Stewart was the last to win a Thunder race on ESPN. And Smoke, the build-up's been incredible. Going home again, even bigger than you had expected?
Yeah, definitely. This is something that a conversation Don Hawk and I had last fall, and just thought it would be really cool to try to move back to Thursday and revive the Thursday Night Thunder aspect of it. It's where I made my name for myself. Jeff Gordon made his name. Jason Leffler, Brian Clausen, the greats of open wheel racing, showcased themselves on Thursday Night Thunder. So we're really proud to bring SRX back to Thursday Night Thunder on ESPN.
Well, Stewart rolls off 10, directly behind another Thursday Night Thunder alumni, last year's winner, Ryan Newman. Nicole?
And all of that is great, but if you want to draw a big crowd around these parts, gather some of the best drivers in the country and get them going with the guy who led the home team to a national championship. Head coach of the Yukon Huskies, Dan Hurley. Take it away.
Drivers, start your engines!
This capacity crowd is ready. These drivers are ready. Let's get the booth ready. My longtime friend and colleague, Mr. Alan Bestwick, the floor is yours. Take it away.
All right, Nicole, thank you. We are so excited to be here tonight at Stafford with Connecticut native Joey Logano, 2-time NASCAR Cup champion, Daytona 500 winner himself. Bob Jenkins, the late Bob Jenkins, you heard him in their opening from the original Thursday Night Thunder talk about, we're going to give you what you wanted. Isn't that what tonight's about?
Oh, absolutely. This is it. Thursday Night Thunder, SRX at Stafford Motor Speedway, one of the most iconic short tracks in America with the stars on the track. Where else can you see IndyCar stars, NASCAR stars of today, of yesterday, all racing at the same time, going for a checkered flag?
Now, you did the final race of last season's SRX Series with us. You're here for the first race of the Camping World SRX Series this year. You said it's fun until...
Oh, it's always fun until it's game time. You put your helmet on, you strap in. They're all wanting to win, right? They're all here having a good time in the pits earlier and hanging out and joking around. That's over. The engine fired up. They flipped on the shield. It's game time.
One of America's iconic short tracks, this Stafford Motor Speedway, it's a little different because the two ends of the racetrack are not equally shaped or equally banked. It's kind of like in a NASCAR version of Darlington, just a little bit smaller than that. These drivers have a challenge tonight.
It's a big challenge, and talking to some of the drivers earlier, they said that they can move around the racetrack. They can use that apron to try to help get their car to rotate. A lot of them said their cars are tight, so they're moving around the racetrack some.
Challenging racetrack, 12 equally prepared cars, and a superstar field of drivers set to introduce themselves to you.
Marco Andretti, your defending SRX Series champion.
Paul Tracy, 2003 IndyCar Series champion.
Bobby Labonte, 2000 Cup Series champion.
Haley Deegan, NASCAR Truck Series 2-time most popular driver.
Clint Boyer, 10-time Cup Series winner.
Denny Hamlin, 3-time Daytona 500 champion.
Ken Schrader, 3-time Daytona 500 pole winner.
Tony Kanaan, 2013 Indy 500 champion.
Brad Keselowski, 2012 Cup Series champion.
Tony Stewart, 3-time Cup Series champion.
Kevin Harvick, 2014 Cup Series champion.
Ryan Newman, 2008 Daytona 500 champion.
I mean, listen to that resume of this group of 12 superstars getting ready to go racing tonight.
You said it, superstars, and some of them have not driven these cars much at all. Their first races tonight: Brad Keselowski, Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski. I mean, these guys have not driven these things in a race scenario yet. We're about to see that for the first time.
There is Tony Stewart getting set to go. What is that, like glow-in-the-dark decals on his helmet inside that thing?
So he told me about this helmet a few weeks ago. This might be the coolest helmet we've ever seen. It glows. It's actually plugged in, and it lights up. Tony and his helmets has always been a thing. That might be, he's set at a whole new standard right now when it comes to helmets. That's cool.
Everybody's going to want one, including you.
Yes, absolutely. Where'd he get it?
Bobby Labonte with our Sport Clips onboard camera getting ready to go. Bobby, a winner at Nashville in SRX competition. Very excited to be back for this year to have another go. He's one of 8 drivers that'll run in all 6 races this year, and the move to Thursday night has opened up the field to other drivers actively competing in other series. People like Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski here in the field tonight. There's the FedEx onboard with Denny Hamlin.
And that's what makes this series so special. We just kind of touched on it a minute ago, is that they are today's stars on Stafford Speedway here. This is all the locals that come here every single weekend to watch the modifieds race are now watching the stars of NASCAR on their racetrack. It makes this really neat.
And returning to defend his Camping World SRX Series championship from a year ago is Marco Andretti. And I love the twist. Marco wore number 98 on his car the last couple of years, but as is tradition in IndyCar racing, where Marco comes from, the champion gets number 1. And Marco snapped that up for this year. A lot of fun. Talked to Marco this afternoon. So excited to be back this year and to get going again. So, again, a refresher on the format for the night tonight. There'll be 2 heat races. The starting lineup for this first heat race was drawn at random. So these are just random starting positions. Then the second heat race will be lined up in the inverse order of the finish of heat race number 1. They average the finish of the 2 heat races, and that's how they'll line up for our 75-lap main event. So that's all the good news. Now the stuff to keep an eye on as we go throughout the night. It is warm. It is humid. If you've looked at some of the weather forecasts, the Northeast has been being blasted by a lot of rain. It's not supposed to come till after midnight tonight.
I think we're good to go. I'm not a weatherman. 15% chance of rain. That tells me I think we're in good shape. But when you talk about these heat races, it's going to be very intense, right? You don't have the fastest cars up front because it's a random draw. The fastest cars will eventually move themselves forward, but it's not a real long race, only 20 laps here. Yeah. And then you're going to invert them to where the fastest cars are in the back. If you want action and you want passing, you're about to see it here because we don't know who the fastest car is right now.
And I'd particularly keep an eye on those 2 guys, the last 2 spots on the outside row for the start, Tony Stewart in that Bass Pro Shops machine, and Ryan Newman in one of the 2 South Point Casino cars. They will be looking to get toward the front in a hurry. Listen to these fans as the field gets the 1-to-go signal.
And these heat races go, you would say, we want to protect my car for the feature. I want to be careful. But the starting position means so much for this race, right? There's not pit stops. There's not like things that's going to, mix up the strategy in the race. So you want to get track position, and the only way you're going to do that is make your average finish in both these heat races better than everybody else.
Connecticut native Randy LaJoy pulls away in that Ford Raptor pickup safety vehicle. He's headed to the safety of pit road. There are 12 superstars ready to go green at Stafford Speedway in Connecticut. The Superstar Racing Experience underway.
See everyone kind of tiptoeing through the first corner here, getting a feel for their race car.
Tracy in that lime green machine with a peek to the inside of Marco Andretti for the number 1 spot.
And it's hard to get drive off of turn 4 there. You see there's a bump off of turn 4. They're down on the apron. It's really tough to get in there. But look at Paul Tracy driving in there sideways, catching it into the corner.
They're 3 wide, back off turn 2. Bobby Labonte, no, that was Denny Hamlin on the bottom, trying to get that. There's a thing here at Stafford called the bottom shot off of turn number 2. Hamlin just tried to give it a go, couldn't hook it up. That is Clint Boyer in the Goodyear machine, the 07 car. And we look at Tony Stewart outside of Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, we saw Tony really wanting to get to the bottom there into turn 1, not able to do it. Now he looks to the outside of Deegan here. He's trying to move forward. They're stuck too wide. It's just they're stuck. There's nowhere to go right now.
Since these drivers practiced, so if you're new to this series and this form of racing, these drivers only get 10 laps of practice in these cars. 2 o'clock this afternoon. Since then, they had a race for the Speedway's headline division, the SK Modifieds, on a different type of rubber. These drivers are figuring out how their cars are behaving at night and on that track condition for the first time right now.
And they don't get many of adjustments. They try to make these cars as equally matched as possible, so you guys have a great race. They're able to make a couple adjustments. They have some spring rubbers that they can put into the car. They can adjust some air pressure, but it's all within reason to where they're all the same. Everyone has the same amount of adjustments. You can't sling springs at it, change sway bars and all those things. It's very, very close and tight together, so you can see a close race.
There's Clint Boyer inside of Tony Kanaan. That is for 4th and 5th place. So it's Andretti leading. Tracy is 2nd. Labonte's 3rd. Then Kanaan now sliding down in front of Boyer, who continues to try and work his way low. Here's Denny Hamlin with a peek to the inside.
Denny did a nice job there, running a little higher, turning down underneath Clint Boyer. This is where it's tough. They get that drive. See how it's flat now on the bottom? There's no banking. Hard to get the drive off that corner. Oh, you can hear him banging doors.
We love it. Here's Paul Tracy looking to the inside of Marco Andretti for the race lead.
You see Andretti, he just wanted to get right back in line there. Cross him back over. Oh, no room.
Upspin, back in the pack. Somebody's around. That is Ryan Newman off turn 2. Caution flag is out.
What an exciting first few laps there. A pass for the lead there. We've seen Paul Tracy, how aggressive he is in this races. There once again, no one really wanted to mess with him, it looked like.
No. Let's see what happened to Newman. Looking toward the bottom of the screen. Nope, he tried.
No, yeah. Looks like Harvick was sticking his nose in there, and he just kind of came down. They didn't know he was there.
I'm trying to think of some quick casino play there, because those were the 2 South Point sponsored cars that collided. I came up snake eyes on that one, trying to come up with a good line. I don't know.
5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. At Camping World, we make seeing America fun and affordable. Take home this new Coleman Lantern or Rubicon for as little as $5 a day. 5, 10, 15, 20. Or this new travel trailer for less than $10 a day. $15 gets you a new fifth wheel. And for only $20 a day, you could drive off in a brand new motorhome. 5, 10, 15, 20. We make RVing fun, simple, and affordable. See America for less at Camping World. 5, 10, 15, 20.
If you want to be here, it all starts here. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we have the widest selection of the quality brands you love to get you outdoors. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Our friendly, knowledgeable outfitters will help you find the right products for your next trip. Shop with confidence with our low price guarantee. Plus, club members save even more on great gear with exclusive member pricing. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, voted America's best outdoor retailer.
America, come along with our adventure seekers and discover summer with Ford. Join friends Maisa and Leslie on an epic adventure with the capability of the Ford Bronco Sport.
Time for goat mode.
Head out with the Stevens family and stay connected with built-in Wi-Fi in the Ford Explorer.
Did you know that horses sleep standing up?
Road trip with the Sanchez family and available hands-free highway driving in the Ford F-150. Scan the QR code to see how Ford can help you discover your best summer ever.
Start making outdoor memories you will never forget. For less than $5 a day, you can own your very own Tracker Off-Road or a brand new Tracker boat, motor, and trailer package. The fastest growing off-road brand in America and the world's #1 best-selling fishing and pontoon boats are built by and sold factory direct at Bass Pro Shops and other select dealers. Save big on the best brands and the boats you love. Escape into the great outdoors with Tracker boats and ATVs.
Thursday Night Thunder is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. Stafford Springs, Connecticut, in the north central part of the state. You know, you go into the store, you see a lot of things, lavender this and lavender that. Well, a lot of that lavender may come from this area. And a beautiful farm that is called Eiling Farms that's right nearby in Stafford. It's a beautiful wedding facility, that kind of thing, and that was the backdrop for our set of billboards. All right, so, Matt, as we get the one-to-go signal, what you got?
Well, it's almost like the old party line or a conference call. All the different drivers are talking to their assigned crew chief here on pit road, asking, who's the guy behind me? Because they're roughing me up. Everybody pretty much saying the same thing. Kenny Schrader simply put it best. Man, everybody is just hitting everybody so far.
Yeah, Kenny's usually good at summing things up like that. So the winner here at Stafford last year in SRX competition, Ryan Newman, brought out the caution, and the field doubling up now for the restart.
And as they double up, a new rule for SRX this year, the choose rule. If you watch NASCAR racing, you choose what lane you want. Everybody here has the opportunity to do that now as well.
Marco Andretti is scored as the leader here because the caution came out, the way we're doing those kind of things. So he and Paul Tracy double up here for the restart. That'll come in one more lap. So it's Labonte, Kanaan, Hamlin, and Boyer. Those are the top six. Then Haley Deegan back with us for another year. Tony Stewart up to 8th position. And Brad Keselowski is 9th. And remember that if you start at the back of this first heat, kind of the guy who picks up the most positions in one of these two heats is going to have a really good shot at being on pole for the main event later.
Absolutely. And when you have a caution like this, it presents an opportunity. And I think Tony picked the outside and gained a couple rows by taking the unpreferred lane. You don't want to be on the top side, especially as you see everyone banging doors on each other.
Yeah.
You don't want to be up there, but you have an opportunity to move up a little bit if you can hang on the restart.
Coming to the restart line where that orange cone is. Green flag, we're back at it at Stafford.
The leaders leaning on each other there, trying to gain position, going to drag race down the back straightaway.
Oop, clunk. Contact back in there. Here's Hamlin 3 wide inside of Labonte and Boyer.
What a move, rolling that very bottom down there. Gets into Tracy. 3 wide again. Holy moly.
Do they make it?
Oh, no,
it is contact and a spin. That's Brad Keselowski that went for the big slide.
We'll have to see what happened there. The good thing is none of these cars look too torn up. Limited contact as they were spinning.
They're bouncing off each other hot and heavy. While that was going on, Paul Tracy also got roughed up a little bit. And Tony Kanaan and Bobby Labonte went by him. Let's check out what happened to Brad Keselowski here to bring out this yellow. Boyer shoved out 3 wide. Clunk, thunk.
Everyone just out of space. And you see Tony, he's going to try to get down here.
Oop.
And Brad was there. And it sends Brad spinning, unfortunately.
Just caught a piece of the Harvick car as he came back across, too.
But we talked about it before the restart, how important that bottom lane is. Everyone fighting for it, right? Tony knew that. Tony said, yeah, I'm coming down. I don't care who's there.
Excuse me, coming through. Oh, he might have got
he might have got a little bit of help there, actually, now that you see it. Yeah, I take that back. He might have got hooked by the 4 on the way in there, Kevin Harvick, on the way in. This is Tony Stewart's onboard. This is through 3 and 4 where they get a little out of space here. He's very mad at that guy in front of him. That's Haley Deegan.
Yes, that is.
Of her. He's very mad. A lot of bumper there. It didn't really show the full view for Brad on how that happened. But I think everybody's going to live to fight another day here.
Oof, wow. Those two wings had kind of hooked together. That could have ripped the backside off of both of those cars.
So you see the choose already happen here.
Once they take the green, it'll be about 2 laps.
So,
I mean, you don't have to say that, but I'm just giving you.
Format of the night, remember, being 20 laps or 12 minutes. It looks like we're going to hit the timer on this one, huh?
I tell you, they came out of the gate swinging this year. SRX season's going to be intense and aggressive. We've seen it already. There's going to be hurt feelings in the first few laps of a heat race. You can imagine what's going to happen by the end of the year.
All right, so the front row now is Andretti and Kanaan, with Hamlin getting a good jump to the inside of Kanaan for second place. Green flag.
Here's Denny trying to roll it. He's been rolling that bottom all night long in this heat race so far, and he's done a great job moving through the field. Not to be surprised. Denny's one of the best short track racers in the country, and here he is showing why.
No, Kanaan and Andretti bouncing off each other. White flag is out. Paul Tracy to second spot. Look at Bobby Labonte come through as Kanaan forces his way back to the bottom lane.
Hey, these IndyCar guys, they like them fenders. They like that they can lean on each other. They're not used to that.
It's not a good thing to do in an open-wheel car. Checkered flag, and the first heat race win in the 2023 Camping World SRX Series goes to Denny Hamlin. So Hamlin is the winner of that first heat race, and the checkered flag is out. They're going to invert the field.
Why not?
And get them ready for heat number 2 in just a minute. Last year's champion Marco Andretti, back to defend his title this year, had a good run to start.
Well, for me, I'm excited to go back to Stafford. Great crowd, great track owners.
It's a fun little racetrack, and the history of it, I think is what makes it so special and what it was years ago. I think it's a horse track. Back in the day.
Definitely feel like I have unfinished business there, leading most of that race and then getting a little bump there towards the end. So it'd be cool to win that one.
When we go there, the amount of excitement that we see in that crowd, how do you not go back there? The support they've given the SRX series, that means a lot to us.
And guys, I can confirm that the fans have been here at Stafford all day. This is my buddy Ed. How long have you been sitting in these exact seats?
5-6 years.
5 or 6 years. How long have you been sitting in these exact seats?
Couple years.
Couple years. But this is the theme here. It's family friendly, and they're all here to see their favorite drivers. And that is why Tony Stewart wanted to bring SRX here, because of the fan support, but also because of the history. When I tell you that this track has been open for 300 years, I am not lying. It opened in 1870, and yes, you heard some of the drivers talk about it. This was initially a horse track, and when they celebrated the 300th anniversary, they did the obvious. They raced a horse and one of the original cars. They began racing cars here, though. That came after World War II, and a number of drivers, as you saw Ryan Preece there quickly shown, have cut their teeth on this track. The Arute brothers, oh my gosh, it was so good to see Jack Arute earlier. Jack Arute is one of the brothers who was able to buy this track, the notable alumni. There have been so many of them, and of course the inaugural race was back in 2021. Heat number 1 is done. Denny Hamlin, well, he won that one. Paul Tracy, number 2. Marco Andretti started Heat 1 and he finished third in this one. But here's the thing. You win Heat 1 and then you have to go to the back for Heat number 2. And that is how they will line up. And then the average of those two heat races, that is how we will set the field for the main event. Now, this whole night kicked off with the man who won a national championship with the local team, those Yukon Huskies, Matt Yoakum. Let's actually talk to that head coach now. How about it?
Well, Nicole, I thought Coach Hurley did a fantastic job with the command. So 2 questions in one. Did you rehearse, and who are you picking tonight?
Well, I was more like mantra, don't screw this up. Drivers, start your engine, drivers, because I was on the ropes there a little bit, man. This is an intense scene, man.
What driver? Who are you picking?
Probably got to go with Denny Hamlin because of the basketball background, or Tony Stewart too, though, because I coach hard and a lot of the other coaches don't really like me, and he's got some of that bad boy thing to him.
All right, he's grooving on Stewart tonight and Hamlin taking it to the front.
And we're just 12 minutes in.
We're getting ready for Heat number 2. You know what's amazing? These fans, they are very opinionated. When we were talking about Denny Hamlin earlier, that was probably the driver who was booed the most. But it's guys like Hamlin, it's guys like Tony Stewart. They cut their teeth on Thursday Night Thunder. And guess what? It is back. We're back with more racing after the break.
The whole Thursday Night Thunder vibe, it's going to be cool from someone who's really young.
It's a homecoming for me, so to speak.
Hello, Tony Stewart, old friend of Thunder. Nice to see you back in the little car.
I may never have made it to the Cup Series or IndyCar Series. Being able to race on Thursday Night Thunder got us the exposure.
Our next Thunder will be at Richmond Raceway.
I remember Jeff Gordon being up on 2 wheels down the back straightaway. He got in with somebody, got up on 2 wheels, still won, or whatever. And I mean, just crazy. You talk about it on Thursday and you go home and watch it on Thursday night.
What I like about the new Thursday Night Thunder is everybody can be part of it because we're all busy on the weekend.
Being a part of something so iconic is really, really intriguing.
Vintage is cool now. All the kids are doing it.
See the physicality in the second half of the field.
Vintage is cool, and it is an absolute pleasure to welcome you back to Thursday Night Thunder and the Camping World SRX Series. Now, we can make, Alan, all the jokes we want about the humidity and how it is impacting my hair, but as someone who lives here in Connecticut, I can tell you that the weather we've been experiencing in New England lately has been absolutely devastating to some of our communities in New England, and that, unfortunately, is part of the story for this series as well, Alan.
Yeah, Nicole, so the second race of our 6-week summer series next weekend was supposed to be at another of the legendary short tracks in America, Thunder Road Speed Bowl in Barre, Vermont. But if you followed the news headlines over the course of the last several days, you know of the terrible flooding that's taken place in the capital area, Montpelier, and adjacent Barre, Vermont. It has just been so devastating to so many people, the entire downtown area of the capital city of Vermont, as well as Barre. Some roads, some infrastructure, some highways, so on, all affected by this terrible flooding, and our thoughts and our support, certainly with all of the beautiful people in that area who have been pitching in to try and get their lives restarted again during this state of emergency. Because a state of emergency exists, consultations with Governor Phil Scott of Vermont, Chris Michaud, the president of Thunder Road Speed Bowl, and SRX CEO Don Hawk have come to the conclusion that it won't be possible to stage next Thursday night's race at Thunder Road. Stafford Motor Speedway here in Connecticut has stepped up and agreed to host a second consecutive Thursday Night Thunder next weekend here in central Connecticut. So, our thoughts with all of those in Vermont, and next Thursday night will come to you as scheduled, 9 o'clock here on ESPN with Thursday Night Thunder, except it'll be here at Stafford Motor Speedway for a second week in a row. Joey, I know as a New Englander and as someone who's so focused on this area, you know that those people have had their hands full up there, and we just send all of our support up to them.
Absolutely, and it's affected so many people. My parents live on the river down here in Connecticut, and their yards flooded. Yeah. So it just affected millions of people, and obviously our thoughts and prayers go out to them.
All right, as they get them lined up for heat race number 2, we turn our attention back now to tonight's action here at Stafford. A couple of highlights from heat race number 1. How about Denny Hamlin powering through?
Denny Hamlin showed why he's a professional. He came from, towards the back of the pack, and went through the field in less than 20 laps. They didn't get the full 20 laps, and they ran up against the time limit. Now he's got to do it again, and he's got to keep his car in one piece because, there's a feature tonight that he's got to try to win as well. So he's got to try to keep his car car clean, but also drive through the whole field and try to get that average finish up to start up front. But I think it showed right there. He's fast. He's able to move through the field. He's aggressive when he needed to be. And when he got to the lead, he started driving away a little bit those last couple laps.
Denny Hamlin started that heat in 6th position. That's the deepest start for a Heat 1 winner ever in SRX. So Denny just accomplished something real there. So what does that get him? It gets him last starting spot in heat race number 2.
There you go.
Flip the field around and get them lined up, and we'll go again for 20 laps or a 12-minute time limit in our second heat race. So you see Brad Keselowski, after the troubles in the spin, along with Kevin Harvick, they get to start up front for this heat race.
Here you go. Here's your opportunity, right? And they started in the back of the first heat race. They got caught up in trouble. Now they're starting in the front. They have to capitalize here. They have to get max points here. They have to start up front, finish up front, lead these laps, and not get in trouble.
Now we got one car that's on pit road here as we line them up for heat race 2. Matt, what's up?
Tony Kanaan down on pit lane here. Basically, we're talking about a lot of the aggressive driving and the seam from the hood to the fender, which is popping up here on Kanaan's car. They're trying to use some big sheets of duct tape, Bear Bond, to try to seal up the fender and the hood to keep the hood from coming up on Kanaan's machine.
Yeah, and you definitely want that sealed up the best you can. For durability, but also downforce, right? We're still going pretty fast here at Stafford. There's a lot of speed. There's a lot of downforce being produced on top of these race cars. They got to have that sealed up.
Yeah, that big wing on the back isn't just for pretty looks.
Exactly. It's a big wicker on the back of that wing as well. So, yeah, you want to have downforce.
Good look at the car that Kanaan will share with fellow Indianapolis 500-mile race winner Elio Castroneves across the season, sponsored by Purdue University in Indianapolis. Yes, they're opening up a brand new campus in downtown Indianapolis, and glad to have the Boiler Up folks with us on SRX this year.
How cool to share a car with 2 IndyCar legends that have been in the sport for a long, long time. Indy 500 champions.
Yeah.
Tony Kanaan, Elio Castroneves, 2 of the coolest people you've ever met, too.
Yes.
I get starstruck when I talk to him. I saw Tony earlier. I'm like, oh my gosh, I still think it's cool.
And you should, because it is. All right, coming down to get... Was this a 2 to go signal? No, 1 to go signal. All right, we're going to go racing in one more lap. So Keselowski and Harvick on the front row. Deegan and Newman second. Boyer and Schrader in the third row. Then Stewart. Do they put Kanaan back in his spot in the lineup? Trying to see out the window here. No, he's at the back of the field.
It looks like there was a little confusion on the lineup. I think they got it figured out now. But yes, they put Kanaan to the back.
All right. We'll see if TK can make some progress forward here in this heat race number 2. So here they come, turn number 4. Just love, we're so close to the people from our view here at Stafford. They're on their feet, they're cheering, they're hollering. What a great energy it is tonight as the green flag waves and we're underway again.
A big launch from the outside lane of Kevin Harvick, but Brad Keselowski's going to stick his nose in there and say, no, not so fast. Kevin getting a good launch off the corner there, though. Going to get down in front of Brad.
That was run. Here's Haley Deegan inside of Ryan Newman. Now they'll go 3 wide. Boyer jumping to the bottom. Deegan says, yeah, I know how that's going to work.
Yeah, the meat and the sandwich, not where you want to be.
Haley Deegan in the red car.
So she's stuck there on the outside there, really opening up the middle lane. And you see how she's going to keep getting used up as she opens up that middle lane. Everyone's aggressive right now. They know how important these spots are. And she's tank slapping it down the straightaway.
That was Marco Andretti who just dove in there to keep that hole open.
There's something interesting I see here, too. There's Denny Hamlin back there in the back. He hasn't really made any progress yet.
I think he might just say, let's let a few of these knock themselves around, and then I'll go.
I think he's trying to save his car.
Got a little right front smoke on the Marco Andretti machine. Maybe knock the fender in on that tire.
I wonder how that happened.
Oh yeah, and
he's in the wall there.
It's going to be a problem. Let's see if that right front is going down on the one car.
You definitely have a hole in the nose, which is not good. And off pace there. There's a replay off of turn 2.
Ooh.
It's a little high. I don't know if he got help there or not. Kind of hard to say.
I think from what we've seen so far tonight,
yeah, he probably got some help.
That's what I was going to say. All right, up front, Kevin Harvick trying to hang on. But Brad Keselowski starting to put a little heat. And Ryan Newman closing in from third.
You know, and Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, those are two guys that have not raced these cars yet. This is their first time, and their first time, I think, at Stafford as well. So they're really learning a lot at the same time. You got Ryan Newman, who is the experienced one in these cars and at this racetrack right behind him.
Brad Keselowski, Rochester Hills, Michigan, driving that Camping World sponsored machine. Here he's going to try and turn it down underneath Harvick. Nothing doing. I talked to Brad earlier. I said, why are you doing this? You're a full-time Cup driver. You're a team owner. Why are you doing this? As he goes for the lead.
Hard to get that drive.
He said 3 reasons. I don't get to race as much as I used to. I love the whole Thursday Night Thunder ESPN angle as he goes through to the top spot. And he said, I need some more trophies too.
Yeah, I get it. And he's in position to do it right now, making up for the bad heat race he had the first time. Now he's in the lead of the second one. And look at Kevin Harvick getting freight trained on the outside. You saw me, he almost tried to check up when Brad got underneath him to get in line in front of Ryan Newman. Was not able to do that. Now he's stuck on the outside lane.
So Newman is second. That's Clint Boyer working underneath Kevin Harvick as they race side by side for third.
And Clint's known to be a great short track racer as well. He's, you know, you look at a lot of his career best finishes in the Cup Series. A lot of them on the short tracks definitely come from that type of background, and you see it here tonight.
Boyer, the Fox Sports television analyst for their NASCAR coverage, and of course, 10-time NASCAR Cup Series winner. What do we got here? Denny Hamlin, Paul Tracy side by side. And the caution flag comes out.
And that's right at halfway in the heat race here. Restack them and let them go again. As soon as they get a little breathing room, able to catch their breath after a crazy start like that.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do it again.
All right, what are we looking at here? Looking at Hamlin and Tracy.
You see Denny, he's in there. He couldn't get any lower. He's down in the grass. Tracy just squeezes him down here. You can hear the rocks in the grass.
Well, they're not quite passing the grass. And we're under caution halfway through heat race number 2 tonight. The Camping World SRX Series.
In the heart of the Midwest, Purdue University is building the future of cybersecurity, advanced manufacturing, microelectronics, AI, biomedical engineering, analytics, sports technology, motorsports engineering, and pharmaceutical discovery. From Purdue, home to more undergraduate STEM students than any other major research university in America, comes Purdue University in Indianapolis. This new urban campus will further extend Purdue University's mission and impact, creating a first-of-its-kind hard tech corridor. Uniting Purdue's West Lafayette flagship campus with the capital city of Indianapolis, linking industry to world-class educators, researchers, and students who will tackle the world's toughest challenges together. Innovating, instigating, persistently pursuing, boldly moving us all forward with the next giant leap. Purdue University in Indianapolis. 5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. At Camping World, we make seeing America fun and affordable. Take home this new Coleman Lantern or Rubicon for as little as $5 a day. 5, 10, 15, 20. Or this new travel trailer for less than $10 a day. $15 gets you a new fifth wheel. And for only $20 a day, you could drive off in a brand new motorhome. 5, 10, 15, 20. We make RVing fun, simple, and affordable. See America for less at Camping World. 5, 10, 15, 20.
Bass Pro Shops in Cabela stands tall in our unwavering commitment to honoring our heroes. We extend our gratitude beyond words by proudly offering a legendary salute discount to those who protect our freedoms. Our dedication to those who selflessly serve us runs deep within our DNA. It's not just a discount, it's a commitment to making a difference. because every day is a chance for us to say thank you. Bass Pro Shops in Cabela's. Your adventure starts here.
Thursday Night Thunder on ESPN. Tonight, the Camping World SRX Series from Stafford Speedway in Stafford Springs, Connecticut. Sold-out crowd and 12 superstar drivers in their identically prepared machines knocking around halfway through heat race number 2.
You said it, knocking around. That is exactly what they're doing. They are using the doors, the bumpers, I think everything. And I like to say they're having fun, but I think they're getting frustrated with each other. You're starting to see that.
You talked about, you put the helmet on, the competitor side in you comes out.
All these guys are champions. They have that fire inside of them.
Yeah, sure
And when
enough.
you put them in a competitive environment, I don't care what it is. We could be racing cars. They can be playing checkers. It's going to get intense.
All right, coming to the green. Pace truck is in, and it'll be Brad Keselowski and Ryan Newman side by side on the front row as they come to the restart line in turn 4.
We go for a 10-lap shootout. Ryan Newman, big start on the outside there. Able to get the launch on Brad Keselowski in the blue car in the bottom.
And Newman will power his way to the front. Now Harvick stuck to the outside, trying to keep with Keselowski. He'll slip up. Boyer will go by, and here comes Tony Stewart down the bottom. And Ken Schrader right with him. That's Schrader in that blue and orange Federated car. Whoop, clunk. Who's that he got there?
I don't know.
It was.
Oh, look at Paul Tracy really send it down in the corner. Spin on Kenny Schrader.
Goes halfway around.
They're staying green so far. Now the caution's out.
Yellow flag number 2 in our second heat race.
We'll have to see what happened there. Paul Tracy got in there pretty hard, but I kind of got the back half of that one.
Well, Kenny was running in 6th position. And now he'll be 12th. All right, there's Schrader with the orange hood on the blue car. And, ooh, what was that just flew up?
That was the hood of the black car behind him.
Was that Kanon's car?
I believe it was.
Yeah.
The tape did not stick. And Schrader got spun out there. You know, and I think that's. I mean, it was an aggressive move down on the inside like that, and when you watch an IndyCar race, that's how they pass each other. If you watch a NASCAR race, that's not very normal.
Wow, look at that.
Here goes the hood. Oh, it's good. Put it back on.
Save on the parts budget, right?
Remember I was talking about how important that downforce was off that hood being sealed up?
Yeah.
And he don't have that no more.
Nope.
That's gone.
Oh, boy. Well, Tony Kanaan with some more work to do by the crew in the break between the second heat and the main event. Here's some Denny Hamlin fans.
I hate that for Kenny Schrader. He's like one of the coolest people you have ever met. This guy has been racing forever, racing locally. I mean, obviously he had an amazing career in Cup, but he's racing third. This guy's never stopped racing, and he has such a fun time. Him and Kenny Wallace just go at it, racing, and it's so cool to see Kenny Schrader out here tonight.
Hey, Matt.
He always races about 100 times a year, and Schrader's already told me he's won up in Alaska, he's won up in Canada. He's going to go back to Canada. He says, you know what, SRX is going to be great, but it kind of, messes up my 2 or 3 or 4 nights a week racing, but really honored to be a part of this crowd here tonight. He's going to go to Waterford Speed Bowl Saturday night for the Boston Louis Classic, so a lot of fun ahead for Schrader.
Oh, that one's at Seekonk Speedway, Matt. Seekonk, Massachusetts. Because I know somebody else that'll be there too. Track where I grew up, and going to go over there with Kenny and the rest of the crowd on Saturday night. Kenny has raced in every state except 2. One is Hawaii. One is Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island doesn't have a racetrack, but Seekonk is just across the Massachusetts line. They consider that their own.
Pretty much everywhere he can.
That's right. All right, so Schrader at the back as we get ready to go, and you see the clock ticking down on our second heat race. Green flag is out. Keselowski to the outside of Newman.
You see Brad with a good jump on that outside lane this time. They're going to race door to door on the back straightaway. Looks like Brad got a little tight on the exit there. Wasn't able to make it happen. He's going to try to sneak down in front of Boyer.
These guys all the way down on the apron there in 3.
They're definitely using the flat. These cars, they look really tight. They're trying to use that apron. And, Boyer's trying to stick his nose in there.
Boyer low, Keselowski high for second place.
This pass is not going to be easy for Clint Boyer.
Especially if he made Brad mad.
Well, that's what I was thinking. As they're coming to the white flag, too.
One lap.
There's probably going to be contact off of this corner with these two.
Last lap, heat race number 2.
And they're both going to barrel it down in this corner so hard. Look at Newman's not able to drive away as they're racing 2 wide. What a great racetrack we're at as they're going to drag race off of turn 4.
Checkered flag. Boyer by a fender for second place, but Ryan Newman backs up his win in the main event here at Stafford a season ago with a win in heat race number 2. Rocket Man has got it rolling again tonight. That's about how he feels right about now, I'm sure.
Probably. His car's in one piece. Got some good average finish, I'm sure.
Yep.
He's happy.
All right, so remember Newman spun in heat race number 1. Keselowski did too. But Newman gets the win in heat race number 2. It's been action-packed so far, fair to say?
Very fair to say.
And the main event is still to come.
Back at Thursday Night Thunder at Stafford Motor Speedway for the Camping World SRX Series. There are 2 heats in, 1 main event to go. Denny Hamlin won the first heat, and then it was Ryan Newman, the winner of heat number 2, which is sort of a continuation of success for Ryan Newman at this track. If we take a look at heat number 2, you've got Newman, Clint Boyer, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, and Paul Tracy, your top 5. Newman has been a winner at this track before. As we all know, motorsports can be dangerous. The wrecks, the accidents, they are inevitable. But Ryan Newman had one of the biggest wrecks that we have ever seen at Daytona a couple of years ago. His first trip back to victory lane was here 1 year ago. A full circle moment for Ryan Newman.
This sellout crowd comes to its feet, and the green flag waves at Stafford. Marco Andretti will get the lead. Here comes Newman knocking on the back bumper of Stewart's car. Andretti leads. Here comes Newman to the inside of Stewart for second. A bump, they bang side by side for the race lead to turn 1. Ryan Newman goes underneath Andretti. Can Marco cross over back? The checkered flag waves tonight over Ryan Newman, a superstar racing experience winner at Stafford.
That was the biggest moment post my Daytona crash, to have that level of family and opportunity, and the stage was special in so many ways. It was the first time I've been to victory lane on a big stage since my crash. Just being on start finish line after the race with the checkered flag and my daughter standing on top of the car, all 4 of us standing there just soaking up that excitement and knowing that the fans just didn't leave. It was pretty fun and pretty special for me. And not that I'm all trying to compare myself to anybody else, but I look back at when Dale Sr. won the 500, when everybody usually runs to their car. It just felt to me like that was that kind of a moment for me. It was really special, and that moment right there in front of all the fans was, and I hadn't raced a whole lot in the Northeast outside of Loudon, so I'm sure that there was a ton of fans that I had never engaged with, and they were there to engage with me, and that was really special.
Some of the sights and sounds from a year ago here at Stafford Motor Speedway. What a difference a year makes. Now, Ryan Newman did win the heat race, but when the crew looked at the engine, water was leaking from one of the fittings. So SRX does have backup cars, and they're also fitted somewhat for a driver's build. Now, Newman has the little bit bigger car because he's a taller guy, a little huskier. So he's in the car right now. They have fitted up the steering column. They have adjusted that and working on a couple of different things here as Newman's getting ready to climb out after they've helped get him situated for the feature here. daughter, Brooklyn. Now, you saw both Brooklyn and Ashlyn in victory lane a year ago. Brooklyn did hand Newman a water bottle through the window. Well, how would you describe your night? It hasn't been a cakewalk.
Well, yeah, I started off backwards there and in last, and then we finished up in first after, 40 laps or whatever. But car felt pretty good. We just had a water leak, and I was trying to monitor my temperatures. I got them cooled off, but it damaged the motor. We were down on 7 cylinders there the last 3 laps. So fortunately, it was good enough to on restart. After that, it laid down, and it was just enough to hold them off. So we got to thank Camping World, everybody at SRX, and it's a lot of fun to be out here and doing this. I can tell you that for sure.
Racing always made up of a bunch of special moments that are always caught in time. When you look back to last year, the emotions of the moment, you've had a year to think about the emotion in victory lane with your daughters and what that night meant to you.
It was special in so many ways, and special because I got the victory, but even more special to me personally, watching them enjoy it, as you know, watching the replay of them enjoying it. That was really what pulled on my heartstrings the hardest. I mean, I was emotional coming to get to the white, but that was really even more emotional just watching them, seeing how excited they were to see their daddy driving and just and winning at that point. So after all the things I've been through, it was pretty special.
All right, special indeed. Nicole, he's hoping for back-to-back wins here in Stafford.
So we got Tony Kanaan over here, and I think if anyone could make the argument that he needs to go to a backup car, it might be Kanaan. You do realize you need the hood, correct?
The engine needed it to breathe, Nicole, so we gave the engine a little breathe, but the car is really strong, and obviously with the format, I mean, you get hit, you're in a good position, but everything can change. So a couple hits in the end there that took the hood out, but they're going to fix it, and we'll see what we're going to do.
We need to stir things up here a little bit. So who can we blame? Who do we need to go after for you losing the hood of your car? Who can we fight?
So I would say Hamlin kind of hit me quite a bit the entire race. Okay. And in one of the hits, I hit Tracy in front and took my hood. So I would give Hamlin a little bit of the blame.
All right, Hamlin. I have a feeling if you want to go after Hamlin, I don't know if you heard the boos from the crowd. I think you will have some supporters. And then there's Paul Tracy, who sometimes just comes in like old Miley Cyrus, like a wrecking ball.
I know PT really well, so I might choose the Hamlin route.
Okay, all right. We got backup plan if we take the Denny Hamlin route. Tony Kanaan, thank you very much. All right, more Thursday Night Thunder from Stafford Motor Speedway coming up. We're getting you set for the main event. It is 75 laps and the return of Thursday Night Thunder on ESPN.
Nice to be able to come back and re-energize this Thursday Night Thunder series with the SRX series.
I remember vividly watching Ryan Newman and Tony and Jeff Gordon racing at all these different kinds of track.
You know, you look back on it now and you didn't realize how special that time period for racing really was.
For me, be a retro like a couple others maybe we participated in, knowing that we are here, 25 years later, doing the same thing but on a different scale with some different people.
This is something that I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll make the old school guys proud and elevate the Thursday Night Thunder new era the same way they did.
For more than 20 years, every Thursday night on ESPN, and for the next 6 weeks, it is back. It's the SRX series presented by Camping World. We got a little bit of breaking news here, guys. Tony Kanaan, we saw him in heat number 2. He lost the hood of his car, and we joked, if anyone needs a backup car, it is him. Well, guess what? Kanaan is getting a backup, a new car that will be ready to go for the main event for Kanaan. As we're getting you set for this main event, this is week 1 of our 6-week stint of Thursday Night Thunder. There was a lot of thought that went into which tracks we go to, and who better to explain why the schedule is laid out the way that it is? Who better than Tony Kanaan? Or excuse me, Tony Stewart, the other Tony.
We want to go to different racetracks. We want to showcase different short tracks across the country and show people in that area why that track's important to go to each weekend and support it and see what kind of racing can go on in their local area. So we're going to some neat racetracks. We're going to some that we've been to before and that we love, and then we're going to some new tracks that we really have a great appreciation for. It's great to have a mixture of old tracks we've already been to, but new tracks that we haven't been to as well. Being at Stafford first, it was just a no-brainer, and I've seen the crowd and how amped up they get for their races each weekend, and it's like, we can't miss this opportunity. Well, the good thing is Eldor is wide, so it gives everybody a lot of room if they're uncomfortable. You know, if you're not comfortable running up on the wall, you've got a lot of room down below that. But there's really not one groove that's the preferred line around there. It seems to change and move around as the night goes on, and that's what we have to teach these guys that don't have a dirt background, is teaching them what to look for on the surface that shows them where the grip is and where it's not. So, you know, it's fun to take those guys and show them the racetrack and show them videos and say, this is what you're looking for when you're running, and this is where the grip is, this is where it's not. The amount of tracks that are requesting races, the amount of drivers that want to drive cars, that we don't have enough cars for all the drivers that want to race in the series. I think that's the biggest compliment to what we've built, is a series that guys want to come have fun and race in, and tracks that want us to come to their city and their state and their racetrack and put on a good show for these fans.
That's Camping World at the track, and of course there is one big change to that. Next week we are staying put. We are staying here at Stafford and not going to Vermont, and that is in response to all of the rain and the flooding and all of the towns that right now are fighting back against the disaster that has been declared in Vermont. So again, our thoughts, our prayers are with the communities who are fighting that, but we're going to stay here next week because that's in their best interest. We've got Mac Yoakum down this way. He's standing by with somebody else who's getting ready for the main event. Who do you got?
Well, Nicole, I've got Clint Boyer, who tried to change his shield to go from a dark to a clear shield, then realized he did not have a clear shield. Your first SRX, this is probably the most aggressive 2 heats I've seen in the past 2 years.
I've got 2 dark shields. That's all I got left. That wasn't very smart. No, I tell you what, my gosh. Those heat races were a little wild. You just told me that was the wildest in SRX history.
Absolutely.
All right, Doug Kobe, wherever he is, kind of a legend around here, right? Big name guy, yeah. He came in there right down on the front stretch. This is me getting into Brad. I told him I had a dark shield on. I couldn't see him right there on the left. That's what that was. I just simply couldn't see him. I used him up a little bit coming to the checkered. But anyway.
What'd Kobe do?
He told us all on the front straightaway to get it all in the heat races. That's the master class key to success at this racetrack. If you're going to win this race, beat the hell out of them in the heat races. And that's exactly what happened. I think he told that to every single driver. I wasn't the only lunatic he told that to. So it's his fault. We tore the hell out of all these cars.
All right, getting ready for the feature, Nicole.
All right, well, if he wasn't expecting it to be that wild of a couple of heat races, Jack Arute said he was expecting every single bit of it, and he is expecting more. 75 laps in the main event. It's coming your way next on Thursday Night Thunder.
Thursday Night Thunder is brought to you by Camping World. Over 1 million RVs sold.
AB's is certainly one, but there are so many voices that we associate with motorsports. Mike Joy, Dave Despain, Bob Jenkins. And you know what? There is one more that is coming back next week. Thursday Night Thunder would not be complete without this man's voice. It is going to be such a treat.
Let's do this one more time and let them have it.
We know you're going to do it. Let's hear those words.
I'm excited Daryl's going to be there. I don't know that you tell Daryl Waltrip anything. Daryl is going to do Daryl.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
That's the way we want him to be. We want him to be himself, and we're super excited and honored that he's going to be a part of this series this year with us.
And that is who will be with us 1 week from tonight. It is Thursday Night Thunder next week from right here at Stafford Motor Speedway with our special analyst, Daryl Waltrip, in the booth. AB, I cannot wait.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Look forward to having the NASCAR Hall of Famer here with us for some good old, he can relate to this, beating and banging, hard-nosed short track racing. Of course, Daryl Waltrip, Three-time champion. He's got all those wins and the Hall of Fame induction. And I believe I'm gonna have to double check. I think he's raced here at Stafford before too. So gonna have to figure that out. But look forward to having Darrell Waltrip here with us next week. Alan Bestwick with Joey Logano, two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. All right, you had expectations starting the night. How has the reality matched your expectations?
Well, I think we heard it from Clint Boyer a minute ago. It was a bunch of wackos out there all racing really, really hard, beating the heck out of each other for a heat race. So if that's what it is for the heat races, you know, okay, now we have a little longer race. We have 75 laps. You can kind of settle in for a minute. You're going to have to manage your car a little bit, manage your tires. But as you keep getting inching closer to the end of the race, the intensity is going to ratchet up. The bumping and banging is going to come back. And then we're going to really see the best car and driver win this race.
I think a lot of what happened during the heat races was reactionary. Now you start keeping score as the laps go on.
Yes, yes, there's keeping score for sure. They're race car drivers. They remember things from years ago. Probably some of them remember things that happened in other series. And they're like, man, I owe him back still, and this might be their only chance to get him back. So it could happen here.
There you go. All right. The cars, well, they took a little bit of a beating during those first couple of heats. Let's see. We got Denny Hamlin out there trying to help the crew work on his own car. Hey, we need this, we need that. I mean, what driver would ever tell the crew what to do, right?
You see him shaking his head. He's mad. He knocked in the right front fender at some point. His toe's out. He said his toe's screwed up. It's plowing. It doesn't turn. You got to fix the toe. Look at he's all. Look at him. That's international sign for toe.
Yeah.
He needs to get his front end aligned, and he's mad about that.
Now remember that there are 4 crew chiefs assigned to the 12 cars. So each crew chief has 3 different drivers they're responsible for, but there are mechanics up and down the pit lane. And the SRX crew brought a fleet of really well-prepared race cars here to Stafford to start the night. They've got their work cut out for them to clean them up and turn them around just for this main event, let alone for next week's race here.
Yeah, I don't think it was about making adjustments for the feature. It was about damage control, trying to get the cars repaired so they can go back out there and race. There's not much time, right? You're in 2 heat races back to back.
Yep.
You inverted the field, which is a recipe for disaster, which we kind of seen, which is great entertainment for all of us that are watching right now. And then they're going to line up again and try to fix their cars here and then go back out.
I was going to say, I kind of like it, you know.
I love it. As a driver, you're like, are you kidding me? We're going to do this? But as a fan, this is perfect.
All right, so getting ready for our main event tonight. And, of course, coming up next here on ESPN, it's Sports Center with John Anderson and Zubin Mehenti. Baseball's best in the first half of the season and what to watch for in the second half. The women's Wimbledon final is set. Should that be the ladies' Wimbledon final, as they call it? And both something that hasn't been done since 1963. Plus, in football, we're on the verge of history in the making. All that and more on Sports Center with John and Zubin next here on ESPN and the ESPN app. And I know what you should be most impressed about that. I read all that and didn't even pick my glasses up and put them on.
It's pretty impressive.
I know you're looking at me like, what are you doing here? Behind the scenes, folks. Look at this crowd.
This is what SRX does, right? They go to these local racetracks, and Stafford does a great job at filling this place up most of the time. But when you bring the stars of these high elite racing series to a local short track, I mean, it puts this place at capacity. I mean, there's all the people they can possibly fit in here at Stafford tonight. You see them all here. They're enjoying a race. There's a man with a 22 hat. There's a shirt with a 22. There's some great, very smart race fans in Connecticut. The best around the whole country right here.
and just to make sure you know, Joey's number in NASCAR is 22.
Yes, great number.
All right, so the average of the 2 finishes of the heat races results in Paul Tracy starting on pole in that lime green number 3 machine. PT, first time ever starting on pole position for a main event. He's been one of the drivers that's been in every SRX race in the 2 now plus seasons of the series and got his best ever finish in an SRX main here.
Right
1
here?
year ago, got his first podium here at Stafford. So PT's got this old place figured out pretty well. But he's got Denny Hamlin, toe in, toe out, toe straight, next to him on the front row.
He's towed. And he got Clint Boyer back there in 3rd place. Ryan Newman there in 4th.
Marco Andretti is going to start in 5th position. You see the starting lineup coming across top of the screen. Tony Stewart will line up in 6th position.
Then you got Bobby Labonte, Brad Keselowski back there, 8th and 9th, getting ready to fire up for some short track racing.
Keselowski, Harvick, Schrader, and Deegan rounding out the starting order for our main event. So the distance here at Stafford tonight, 75 laps around this half-mile track. Caution laps will count until the last 10 laps. Yellow in the last 10 laps, they don't get any closer to the checkered flag, and this could be interesting, unlimited attempts at a green flag finish.
You will be entertained here for the next hour or so, for sure.
Oh, look what the fans are doing. It's going to be
good racing. All the fans, they got their phones out.
How cool is that?
Got lights flashing. That's cool from the in-car. And the drivers see that. Obviously, you see that from the in-car, but the drivers see that too. And that just shows how engaged everybody is. And as a driver, that's neat. Like, it's one of the reasons why I love racing at Bristol so much is because the fan experience. Everybody's right there. You hear everyone cheering, sometimes booing, but you hear all the noise. And that part, sometimes for me, it's a lot of booing, but I don't know. In the car, sometimes it's loud enough, so it's okay. But you see that engagement. That's so cool.
All right, they're coming to their feet now because the pace truck is off. The main event at Stafford Springs, Connecticut is about to get underway. The Camping World SRX Series, season number 3.
A lot of wheel spin on the start. Look at that car in the bottom.
Whoa, Marco Andretti.
What a launch he had at the restart zone. And I believe you can do that in SRX. You don't have to wait till the start-finish line. I think it's when you get to that restart line, it's hammered down, and I think that was okay.
Here is Clint Boyer looking for 2nd place, and he's got it. Denny Hamlin now crosses over inside of Paul Tracy, and Hamlin's going to get 3rd. This is from Marco Andretti's car. Hello. That's Boyer, isn't it?
Boyer. He said, I kind of want the lead right now. I don't care how many laps there's to go. I think he knows maybe one of the fastest cars is right behind him in Denny Hamlin. We've seen the speed he had in the first heat. And I think Clint's like, I'm going to have to get out here and run. Here he goes again, right on him. He really drives in the corner, and Denny's able to drive in the corner too. It makes you wonder, is Marco Andretti just have the corners backed up? Maybe he's saving some tire. I don't know, but he definitely has a corner backed up. Here comes Denny Hamlin into turn 1 on the bottom of Clint.
All right, so Andretti gets a little bit of a gap on what is now a fight for 2nd with Hamlin underneath Boyer. I'll tell you, Marco, last year's SRX champion, and folks forget that he did it with a broken wrist.
That happened in the last race.
Yep, he broke his wrist in the main at Sharon Speedway in Pennsylvania in a crash. As we have telemetry on people, that's Denny Hamlin's heart rate right now as he races around in the 80-something degree heat here at Stafford.
And he's just starting off here. We're very early in the
spins,
race.
2 cars around, turn 4. And more are going to be stacked up in the jam-up. Oh, boy. Schrader got caught up in it. Bobby Labonte. There's Harvick. And I believe that's Newman driving away. It is in that backup car, now orange-colored for Newman. And that doesn't look good for Labonte as he limps away. Ooh.
Yeah, it looks like it already started there. Hard to say how it started. And you just see the stack of everybody on the brakes. Here it is from Bobby Labonte. So just get into each other ahead of him and stop. Oh. That's the old chain reaction there.
Well, Harvick got jacked up, literally, by another race car. He's gone to the pit lane. Bobby Labonte's on the pit lane with damage to his machine, and we're under caution in our Thursday Night Thunder main event at Stafford for the Camping World SRX Series. Marco Andretti is the leader.
At Camping World, we make seeing America fun and affordable. Take home this new Coleman Lantern or Rubicon for as little as $5 a day.
5, 10, 15, 20.
Or this new travel trailer for less than $10 a day. $15 gets you a new fifth wheel. And for only $20 a day, you could drive off in a brand new motorhome.
5, 10, 15, 20.
We make RVing fun, simple, and affordable. See America for less at Camping World.
5, 10, 15, 20.
If you want to be here, it all starts here. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we have the widest selection of the quality brands you love to get you outdoors, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. Our friendly, knowledgeable outfitters will help you find the right products for your next trip. Shop with confidence with our low price guarantee. Plus, club members save even more on great gear with exclusive member pricing. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, voted America's best outdoor retailer.
$5 for this. $5 for that. $5 for this. $5 for that. Go explore. There's so much to see. $5 a day gets you a new RV. $5 for this. Nah. Get outdoors and travel like me. $5 a day for a new RV.
Camp for less at Camping World.
Start making outdoor memories you will never forget. For less than $5 a day, you can own your very own Tracker Off-Road or a brand new Tracker boat, motor, and trailer package. The fastest growing off-road brand in America and the world's #1 best-selling fishing and pontoon boats are built by and sold factory direct at Bass Pro Shops and other select dealers. Save big on the best brands and the boats you love. Escape into the great outdoors with Tracker boats and ATVs.
Back at Stafford Springs, Connecticut, Stafford Motor Speedway, with our Camping World SRX Series main event. First of 6 to come your way on Thursday Night Thunder here on ESPN. Marco Andretti's the leader. Man, what a start he got on the initial green.
Yeah, this is he jumped the start. Let's be honest about what happened here. He jumped the start, but I'd say he got away with one. Right there's a line there off of turn 4. That's the restart line. In the driver's bean, they say you go at the restart line, which is right up here. You see the line going across the racetrack right there. That one. That doesn't feel okay in my book, but in this book, I guess it's okay.
The light was green, and he said, "I'm going."
He went with it.
All right. Well, now they're going to have a chance to get that green light and go again. Pace truck is off. And it will be Andretti with Clint Boyer to his outside. Denny Hamlin, Paul Tracy in row 2, coming to the green.
Well, Marco knows that move. That's why you see him all the way down to the apron to block that. He said, I know how this works.
Ooh, Tony Kanaan inside of Paul Tracy as Denny Hamlin muscles his way to the inside of Clint Boyer for second.
They had a good battle going right before that caution, Denny Hamlin and Clint Boyer. See Denny with a great launch off of turn 4. He's going to turn inside of Andretti.
Whoa. Now remember, there are no spotters like you might have an individual spotter for your car in a NASCAR or an IndyCar race. These guys have a radio connected to race control for safety, but they're on their own to look out the mirrors and figure out when somebody's inside or not.
And I just learned this, guys, and that explains a lot of the wrecks at this point, where there's no one driving them through the wrecks. There's nobody saying clear to get down. They don't have a great picture of their surroundings, and they're driving cars that they don't typically drive. So they're learning their surroundings without any help.
If you're new to SRX, these are purpose-built race cars. Series founder Ray Evernham designed these cars. They're not an offset oval track car. Like an oval track car is kind of biased to the left side because it's always turning left. These cars are a straight-on chassis that could be used for road racing, and they can be used on pavement or dirt, so they're a little hard to handle on these oval tracks when you're turning left all the time.
But if they're all the same, who cares, right? That's what makes it a good race. And so no one has an advantage here. That's why you see the racing is always so tight in the SRX series.
So Denny Hamlin into the lead with Marco Andretti second.
One slow up there.
Is that Harvick, I believe? It is?
Bass Pro, I think that's Stewart.
Tony Stewart is off the pace. And coasting toward the entry to the pit road.
And there is a point system to this whole thing and a champion at the end of it. So having a bad race like Tony Stewart has right now as he rolls down pit road, it's going to hurt his championship hopes. But the way these guys race, I'm telling you, they're all going to have a bad race at some point.
Boyer nudges his way to the inside of Andretti.
Andretti try to sneak down right behind Clint. He's able to do it, but then he gets in the back of Clint there. As they're sideways, he's going to send it down in there on him.
Fun.
This is great racing. This racetrack is just made for really any kind of car, but these SRX races are great on this racetrack.
This is for second place. Ooh, bump, bump. Hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's kind of common courtesy. If you get moved out of the way, well, you go right back and you move that person right out of the way. That's just how it works.
Wow, look at Boyer. Try and sail it in there.
You see Clint, a very interesting style there. He's able to drive in hard, kind of let it float up in the center, and then drive it back down by the corner exit, get the run that he needs. And this isn't going to be an easy pass for either one of them right here. And there's a line of cars behind them just waiting to pounce.
Yep, that's what I was just going to say. Remember Tony Kanaan told us he thought he had a pretty good car in the heat race despite losing the hood? That's TK that's right behind this side-by-side, well, now nose-to-tail race for second place. So Tony Kanaan up to fourth. Right there.
Clint's trying so hard to make this pass. He's using up a lot of tire. You see him sideways coming off the corners, trying to make this move. He's going to try to get the drive off of turn 2, which it seems like you're able to do very well here at Stafford. He's going to clear him here. Now, does he get hit again is the question.
And behind them, Paul Tracy gets through Tony Kanaan. And PT moves himself back up to fourth place. So it's Hamlin, Boyer, Andretti, Tracy, Kanaan, then Ryan Newman in that backup car. Haley Deegan next in line. And we mentioned Tony Stewart off the pace and on pit road a little bit ago. Matt Yoakum's there.
The inaugural champ on pit lane here, chasing a fuel pressure problem on the 14. Not sure yet what the issue is, but that's what the early problem. Not sure what the answer is going to be.
Well, I don't know specifically what the problem is, but I do know enough that you can't run the engine without fuel for very long.
Yeah, you kind of need that to make these things running. And that's, I mean, it's sports. And in automobile racing, there's a lot of machine that you rely on as a race car driver, and it's got to work together. And unfortunately, sometimes things happen.
Yeah, the long faces on a couple of the crewmen there on that camera shot say it all there. All right, so Tony Stewart is on pit road and will not have a good opening night to this Camping World SRX Series. Clint Boyer's hanging right with Denny Hamlin. They've put a little bit of a gap on Marco Andretti, who's in third. I started to talk about Marco before winning the championship at the end of last season with a broken wrist sustained in a crash during the main event. He finished the event, did all the photos and all the rest. Then he had to have surgery on his left wrist, have a plate and screws put in, was taken out about a month before he competed in this year's Indianapolis 500. Talked to him today. He said, it got kind of sore during the Indy 500, still recovering from that surgery, but I'm 100% now.
Well, that's good to hear. And it shows how bad he wanted it. And
oh, yeah.
You think about Marco Andretti, I mean, he's not a stock car racer by trade, right? He comes from an IndyCar family, obviously the famous Andretti family, led by Mario. Just an incredible story to see him racing a stock car, winning the championship in one of these things is really special and cool to see. And he's always hanging around. It seems like he's always hanging around in the top 5. When you watch all these races, Marco Andretti is just always in the middle of it.
We may see Marco in a couple of more NASCAR races later in this season, but up next for the next 5 weeks after this is trying to win back-to-back Camping World SRX championships.
Let me see Denny there. Denny's probably playing this pretty smart right now. As a short track racer, you get out front and you're able to manage your race. You can manage your tires, manage your brakes, how your car is building a certain direction in the balance. He's able to run a smart race. Now, when you go back here a little bit, you see all those guys racing hard. They don't have that advantage right now. They're racing. They need to keep beating their stuff up. But right now, you got 2 short track guys that have grown up doing this stuff, right? You got Clint Boyer that has just done this for so long. They're both kind of playing a cat and mouse game. They're saving their car, saving their tires, keeping the pressure on each other, and then when it gets down to the end, you're going to see it really fire up.
Of course, Denny Hamlin, 3-time Daytona 500 winner. has had an enormously busy week behind the wheel of race cars. As you watch him work here in the hot and humid conditions tonight, he spent 2 days tire testing his NASCAR Cup Series machine for Goodyear down in Texas. Were you?
I was there too.
So you know. He flew back home to the Charlotte area. He was in a simulator this morning in the Charlotte area doing some work for his day job.
Yep.
Then flew up here to race tonight, and then for all of you guys, it's on to New Hampshire for the Cup Series weekend up there after we're done here tonight.
Well, I get the air conditioning tonight.
Yes, you do.
Talk about hot. It was hot in Texas. It was 88 degrees at 5 in the morning down there.
Wow.
Woo. Now, Denny was not there at 5. He doesn't wake up that early.
As you heard UConn National Championship head coach Danny Hurley talking about Denny's basketball connection. Of course, Denny co-owner with Michael Jordan of the NASCAR Cup Series team that he's an owner with. Is a pretty good race.
Yeah, you see Clint, he's really able to keep the pressure on Denny right here. They really separated themselves from the rest of the field. But Clint's really keeping the pressure right here.
Yeah, watch behind this. New car in third place. Paul Tracy just got by Marco Andretti and picked up third position. So PT, who came off his first SRX podium finish here at Stafford a year ago, started on the pole, got shuffled back, and now has worked his way back up into a podium position. And now behind them, mixing it up again a little bit. Marco kind of getting shuffled back in that line. He's going to lose several spots here. Yeah, look at that group.
Yeah, they're slicing and dicing back there.
Still got Haley Deegan in the mix in that group. Ken Schrader and Bobby Labonte have been dicing back and forth a little bit back there. Bobby's car damaged in that incident we had in turn 4 earlier.
Yeah, you'll see there, Paul Tracy kind of able to separate himself as well, seeming like he's got a pretty good car and being able to manage some things. And Marco seems to be having a hard time, right? When you're the car that everyone is stacked up behind, it's a matter of time before everyone starts losing patience and they start getting more and more aggressive. You just want to separate yourself, get a little bit of breathing room before they get to you. Haley Deegan drives in Harley. The nose just fall down into the corner. This is a great shot to see all the different lines that you can run. And it's very technical racetrack. It doesn't take a very different line. Like a couple feet here is a really big deal. And how you use that transition. Where that solid white line is, there's a banking transition. And when you pull it down on that, it may help your car turn and get you point, but it's going to hurt your drive off the corner. So it's very finicky. You got to be very precise on how you drive the car here at Stafford.
Trying to see a couple of these cars looking from the inside really have some serious brake glow going too. Paul Tracy just running wide up in the corner. Tony Kanaan trying to get by him, but look at the brakes on the front of Kanaan's car.
Yeah, that's a lot. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of. And usually by now, like off the corner, they start to cool off. He is definitely on the brakes really, really hard. And what does that do? All that heat is transferred into the tire and hurts your grip.
All right, caution flag is out. Quick break. Back to Stafford for the restart. Back live, Stafford Speedway in Connecticut, Camping World SRX Series race number 1 for 2023. If you have followed this series over the last couple of years, you know that part of the series is the occasional restart to bunch up the field when things get spread out. And you may be questioning, well, maybe we might have seen one of those in the first half of this race, but we're fighting the weather here tonight. The radar is beginning to look less and less pleasant, and so a little longer gap before that caution flag to set the field back together again to restart right now.
On old tires are going to restart. There's weather in the area that always brings the intensity up. It's time to go.
Yeah, no time to waste at this point as we work past halfway in this event. 31 laps to go. It's Denny Hamlin leading. Clint Boyer is second. Paul Tracy's got 2 cars beating on his back bumper. That's Tracy in the lime green machine. Ryan Newman to his inside in that backup car.
Newman in the backup car is just kind of grinding through the field, getting a couple here or there when he can.
And he's up to third place. Ooh, who's that? Off into the grass. Kanan.
Oh, save it. He got it.
Jared, y'all clear.
Bravo, TK. Yeah, getting off into the grass is not usually a good thing to do with hot tires, sticky.
There's nothing good about going in the grass with a race car. You don't want to do that. And here you got the 2 leaders again. These guys have been class of the field, but Ryan Newman has come all the way from the back of the pack here, kind of just methodically going through it. So now we're going to see the best cars. The cream is kind of rising to the top at this point. The best cars are showing up, and we'll see what we got.
There is Haley Deegan looking inside, and that's Marco Andretti. Red car is Deegan. Andretti, that number 1 machine on the outside. Trade a little paint there, back for 5th and 6th place.
Yeah, Andretti's just had a struggle tonight. He's really had a hard time. He's had good track positions to start the race, but he's had a hard time maintaining it, especially as the race goes. It seems like his car is just not turning and getting tighter as the race goes on.
Here's Ken Schrader, his car carrying some scars from the action tonight. So Ryan Newman creeping in on Clint Boyer for 2nd spot. What happened to put Tony Kanaan in the grass? That's TK in the Purdue machine right there.
Nope. Was 2 cars going for the same piece of real estate, and he kind of got shuffled out of it.
Made the save, and we keep on going. Here's Schrader looking to find a way around Marco Andretti as Ryan Newman gets by Clint Boyer for 2nd. So Newman in the orange car is to 2nd place.
And if you're Denny Hamlin, you better run. Ryan Newman's came all the way from the rear. He is coming.
If you're Denny Hamlin, are you hoping for rain?
Well, not yet. This is still fun. There's only 24 laps to go. We'll see what Newman's got left in the tank.
In a backup car, no less. Ryan Newman, remember, got spun around early in one of the heat races and still managed to come through and get a win in the 2nd heat race, and with a car that was ailing after some of the damage. Went to a backup car for this main event, the quick retrofit, and he's out here tearing his way up through the field, now all the way to 2nd.
And I think what you're seeing here is the advantage that Ryan Newman has over Denny Hamlin. He has experience on him. Yeah, Denny Hamlin, 3-time Daytona 500 champion. Both of them are great race car drivers, but Ryan Newman has a couple years more experience than Denny Hamlin does in an SRX car at Stafford. He knows how the race is going to play out, what he needed in his car, and how to manage the race. It's so important. And now you see that all starting to come together as he's just slowly reeling him in right now.
So Denny Hamlin has been out in front for 43 of the 54 laps that we've completed. Make it 55 when they come by here. Marco Andretti led 10, Clint Boyer 1. Ryan Newman has led none in this main event so far, but that may be about to change.
Denny's going to have his hands full here in a couple laps with Ryan Newman.
Ooh. And you caught a glimpse of the sky in the backdrop of that shot.
And don't you, the drivers see that. You see that every now and again. You go into one if there's something like that.
And there is the caution flag.
And when you see a storm brewing like that, you know you better go, or you may be too late.
Okay, yellow flag. And a look at some of the action we've seen during our night tonight. And what we're seeing live is the white flag being waved. The caution was for the weather. You saw those lightning flashes in the backdrop of the shots as they were trying to finish this race. And the checkered flag will wave next time by. And, of course, the fans already being given the word here in the stands to head for their cars and clear the grandstands with this weather closing in quickly.
Yeah, they had to do this. The storm is coming in. You wouldn't believe the amount of wind right now going on around this track. It's quickly. A big storm. They have to do something. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the race of Ryan Newman and Denny Hamlin right there at the end as it was closing up. But, man, we got to see some great racing tonight.
Twice a driver has won the main in their SRX debut. Make it 3 times now as the checkered flags are waved over Denny Hamlin, winner of the Camping World SRX Series, race number 1 of 2023. It's Hamlin, the winner.
Let's dial him up. Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano up here in the booth. You got us?
I got you.
Hey, congratulations. It looked like a good, nice and easy race for you, but it was Ryan Newman was on his way, and the storm that was brewing obviously kept us from seeing that. But what a great race. We saw you during the in between the races. You were talking about your toe being off, but it seems like you were all right. How was your first experience here?
Yeah, it was a bunch of fun. Just thank you guys down Hawk and Finish Stewart and all those guys for letting me come here and run. And obviously got to thank FedEx and Camper World. Knowing that we're in the same cars as everybody else, being able to go out here and short track race, no spotters or anything, and obviously it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of pressure on us. And I didn't think Newman coming.
I don't think we heard anything you just said, but congratulations. Have fun celebrating.
He said, thank Tony for letting me come and race. Thank the sponsors. Said he knew Newman was coming, but it ended the way it did. Okay, so weather-shortened event tonight here at Stafford Springs, Connecticut, and that's a shame because we were having a lot of fun. But it is Denny Hamlin, Chesterfield, Virginia, with his first career win in his first Superstar Racing Experience try. There is the scene as Denny Hamlin climbs from his car in what will no doubt be an abbreviated victory lane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Celebrating a win tonight here at Stafford to get the photos quickly taken as the grandstands quickly empty. Oh, and it's already started. Here comes the weather just now. Here are our final results from our abbreviated main event tonight.
And what a good race we saw there. A lot of drivers that kind of went through some adversity throughout the night were able to overall come with a good finish. Look at Ryan Newman, probably the best example of that, with a wreck in the first heat, win the second heat, get a backup car, and finish second.
Here's a look at the winning move. Denny Hamlin from his onboard, muscling his way around Marco Andretti.
Yeah, Denny did a good job there, just being patient behind him for a couple laps, but then eventually getting underneath him. And then, like we always say, he was able to manage his car out front, save his tires, save his brakes. Like I said, Ryan Newman was coming. I like to see how that was going to play out. The good news is it's going to play out next week.
Yeah, we get to try it again right here at Stafford Speedway next week. Remember the events in Vermont, so we've moved our race here to Stafford Speedway again. Thursday Night Thunder next week, 9 o'clock Eastern Time here on ESPN from right here at this same place. So, Denny Hamlin is our winner tonight. Want to give a big thanks to the crew for all they've done to get this thing up and running for week number 1. Be safe, everybody, getting it all torn down tonight. And big thanks to Nicole Briscoe, Matt Yoakum, who have taken shelter, as they should, on their wireless equipment outside. Joey, thanks. You were terrific.
Thank you. I had a blast up here. Can't wait. I got a couple more on the schedule this year. Can't wait to be back up here in the booth.
So Denny Hamlin wins at Stafford on Thursday Night Thunder. Sports Center is next. See you next week.